Hey, good day, everyone. Thanks for stopping by. Before I get going, disclaimer, this video is for entertainment purposes only. The subject matter I'm going to touch on today is Canada, the Canada corporations, how these other corporations, how they don't take out to the people. They take out to their corporations they serve strictly. And first off, before we get going, Republic of Nova Scotia, www. republicofnovascotia.ca. The email, republicnovascotia@protonmail.com. Here, I'll bring it up there. Anyways, we'll get going here. The first slide I'm going to bring up here is just a reminder here. On the previous video, I pointed out here on companiesbio.com. This is a Canada description on that of the corporation registered in Washington, D.C. Let's see here, the corporate number here. Canada is an American company incorporated in the state of D.C. Head office is located at the Canadian Embassy, 501 Pennsylvania Avenue, Northwest Washington, D.C. 2001 is the zip code. In the industry, or the industry number is 8888. It's the Office of International Corporation, Foreign Governments. Canada is a public company and trade via over-the-counter OTC stock markets. Over-the-counter stock markets are, as I went over in the previous video, are basically they trade directly with these buyers, and they're buying and trading all your securities, people. More or less is what's happening here. Anyways, all the you can look on company's bio, and it'll have all the provinces, all them corporations too, listed on here. If we look at the Clearfield Doctrine, basically these corporations are trading in commercial papers and securities, and they're profiting off you and I under the guise using a trust. These trusts, there's multiple trusts set up without your knowledge, and they're the ones taking advantage of all this because all equity derives from us, and basically they're stealing all our equity. Everyone should have all the essentials to live at minimum, right? The amount of resources, the amount of time, energy that everyone puts in, and the banks and the bar association, these organizations just steal and plunder under the color of law. It's all done under false pretense. It's basically a RICO racketeering scheme that they commit against the people. The courts, the police, the politicians, they don't work for us at all. So what this doctrine, this is a legal doctrine, and it's basically what it gets at here is what it's saying is when a private commercial paper is used by corporate government, then government loses its sovereign status. It becomes no different than a mere private corporation. As such, government then becomes bound by the rules and laws that govern private corporations. I mean that they intend to compel an individual to a specific performance based on its corporate statutes or corporate rules, which they do all the time. The criminal code, everything is corporate acts, code, statutes. Then the governing, like any private corporation, must be the holder in due course of the contract or other commercial agreement between it and the one who demands for specific performances are made. So every time a cop pulls you over, they're attempting to enter you into a contract, is what's happening. They're a private corporation, and they act under the color of law, and they attempt to extort you, basically, on the side of the road with weapons, under a threat of duress. You don't know your rights, and they take complete advantage and try to gain some type of presumed jurisdiction over you when in the reality they don't have any. They're just a private corporation out trying to plunder, steal, rob, control, and mislead the public under false pretense, once again, acting in a RICO racketeering scheme. Because we will be going through the criminal code, and I'll point out everything applies to them and what they are doing, and how the public is basically brainwashed through the programming on the TV and that crap that police and judges and lawyers and all these people are good people and superstars and blah blah blah. When in reality, the reality is it's quite different in the real world. That in my own experience, they're the ones that break every law. Like every day, these people, that's all they do is break their own laws. This shit applies to them, not me, you. Remember that. I abide by the laws. I don't go around hurting people. I don't do anything they do. I don't bust down people's fucking doors. I don't steal their cars on this. I don't commit securities fraud on the side of the highway. I don't threaten people's lives. This is what they do on a daily basis. This bar association, these policy enforcers. This is what they're all about. These policy enforcers work for these corporations. They're corporate mercenaries, is what they are. The RCMP and all these municipal police forces. They do not serve the people in any way. You're seeing lawsuits or claims filed right across the country. People had enough of this complete, they self-govern, zero accountability, and and that's the thing, as I showed you previously, and I'll show you in a second. Here's the RCMP Act and the oath they take. But anyways, to finish off, the Clearfield Doctrine says that they're not sovereign. They're mere corporations. They're entering you into contract. They never taught you to contract for a reason. Okay, that's what them tickets are, to get you into the courts. The courts want to contract with you. Same with the family courts. Family courts, you can do whatever to another person, and the cops will, you call the cops up if you're with that person or have children with that person, and the cops won't do anything. They'll be like, going to court. Why? Because they want to force everyone into these courts. The police, the policy enforcers work for the courts. Okay, it's very clear. If you can't understand this, you don't know very much, right? Because that's what cops do, is the bidding of the courts. They enforce these unlawful orders, all this other nonsense. Okay, warrants, not even real warrants, void warrants. They're not signed, they're not bonded. When these guys cause damages, and I'll show you that in a sec or two. Anyways, the Clearfield Doctrine more or less says corporations, they are not sovereign. Okay, sovereign is to be king. A corporation isn't king. They're way the fuck down totem pole. They're not real, they are fiction, and they only exist on paper. Therefore, all laws created by these government corporations are called public law, statutes, codes, and ordinance to conceal the true nature. So they cannot promulgate or enforce criminal laws. They can only create and enforce civil laws, which are duty bound to comply with the law of contracts, which I showed you in the Criminal Code of Canada. Even one example is Form 35 in the back, where it talks about payment of debt to get released from jail. Okay, you need to accept with honor the charges, because what's a charge? It's to draw from. So that's what they're charging your straw man. Okay, don't accept to be surety. Don't accept to put your body in line as surety for these debts. It's complete nonsense what these are private courts. The Bar Association is a private, members only. Okay, they operate in commerce. We should not even be in these courts. They're all commercial courts, and everyone's being lied to and defrauded by the Bar Association and the rest of these government entities controlled by the banks and enforced by this Bar Association. Okay, these are creditor, debtor courts. Strictly, the whole system is based on credits and debits. Period. Everything is, we're under, these banks more or less own us, right? I mean, that's the whole problem with this, is because no one knows exactly what's going on. Like, you pay all these taxes, you give everything to these people. They go and break the law. They steal properties like there's no tomorrow, and that's fine. because these courts, they enforce this shit. And I'm going to show you the evidence to support all my claims based on, yeah, evidence you're going to see and hear yourself. That's going to show the amount of corruption by this bar association in the government. These general attorneys who were bar members too. Lieutenant governor's a bar member. They're all bar members. They're all acting for the best interests of the corporation. Anyways, all they're attempting to do is contract. Every contract they attempt to get you in, it's to get you become an authority over you, to tell you what to do, more or less, right? It's all about control. The law of contracts requires signed written agreements and complete transparency, which they are not giving. Did you ever agree to be arrested under their corporate statutes? And it is the criminal code. All their codes are their corporate statutes that do not apply. Bylaws do not apply. They apply to the city or whatever. The CBRM, the city of Regina, whatever. That's who it applies to, their employees only. Like, you're all acting like you're corporate Canada employees, going around waving their flags, and I love Canada. Canada's a corporation, people. Okay, it's not a country. It is a corporation, period. Anyways, it's called the Clearfield Doctrine. Like I said, it's a legal doctrine. You can look it up fairly easy, and this is just more or less a dumbed down version. Someone did a very good explanation. I'm not sure of the website here, but anyways, yeah, they did an easy interpretation of actually what that case law, or whatever that case, the personal opinion was on this stuff. But it makes sense to me, because these corporations, these de facto governments, are not serving the people. That's very clear what's going on today. Anyways, I already showed you this. Canada is an American registered company. Once again, I'll touch on the RCMP Act. Just a reminder, these people don't take oath to the people. I solemnly swear that I will faithfully, diligently, and impartially execute and perform duties required of me as a member of the RCMP, and will truly obey and perform lawful orders and instructions that I have received as such, without fear, favor, and affection towards any person, so help me God. So they're not there to serve and protect the people. I don't see anything about the people there. All I see is about instructions and lawful orders by who? By their superiors that none of them are voted for. These are all selected, not elected people. They are selected for a reason, people. Okay, wake up. Oath of secrecy. I solemnly swear that I will not disclose or make known any person not legally entitled thereto any knowledge or information obtained to me in course of my employment with the RCMP, so help me God. So yeah, once again, nothing about the people there, right? This is all about protecting the company. Okay, because RCMP, they offer protection services for all these corporate employees, and they they're private mercenaries is what they are. All they're doing is enforcing these corporate policies by these corporations, the Canada Corporation, provincial corporations, who contract them out. And it's complete nonsense. They self-govern, zero accountability. These people are just, they're wrongdoers. They are criminal wrongdoers. So this is the Public Servants Disclosure Protection Act. I'm sticking to Nova Scotia. A lot of the stuff I'm working on now is with Nova Scotia, so I kind of, when I come across this, I'll set it aside and make it, because I think this stuff is important, right? Because they hide this stuff everywhere through all these acts and codes and statutes. Anyways, this is recognizing that the Federal Public Administration is an important national institute as part of the essential framework of Canadian parliamentary democracy. It is in the public interest to maintain and enhance public confidence in the integrity of public servants. Confidence in public institutions can be enhanced by establishing effective procedures for the disclosure of wrongdoings and for protecting public servants who disclose the wrongdoings, and by establishing a code of conduct for the public sector. This is all about the public sector, folks. Okay, that's who they care about. The 25,000 Canadian public service sector corporations. This is what they serve. RCMP and these municipal police forces don't protect the people, they protect these corporations. Publics in, well, this paragraph right here says a lot, so pay attention. Public servants owe a duty of loyalty to their employer and enjoy the right of freedom of expressions as guaranteed by the Charter and Rights and Freedoms, and that this act strives to achieve an appropriate balance between those two important principles. So it's right there. They owe duty to their employer. Okay, and then the Charter of Rights, that applies only to these government agents. Parliament, anything that Parliament wrote that they have jurisdiction over, which is commercial shit. They wrote the RCMP Act, they write the Hospital Act, they write the Child Protection Act, all these shit they write, and they use specific words in order to get jurisdiction over the subject matter. And people know no better. Oh, I got to get a lawyer. Like, lawyers don't know none of this shit. Lawyers go to school for 7 years, they're trained process, and they're probably the dumbest people I've ever met. They have not a clue. Either that or they're just complete criminals. There's not even a threat of any type of decency, which it could be very possible. Anyways, I'm not going to go through this. I want to cruise through a few of these things right quick here. So I want to jump over to Duns and Bradstreet. Okay, so Duns and Bradstreet, up here I got, and the reason why I've been delaying on this is because I'm having an issue with this OBS system, and you're going to see in a minute the screen's turning black on me on certain websites, and this is one of them. So it's very hard to articulate, to show you what I'm seeing on the screen, to interact a little better here, right? Just to show you for your reference. So anyways, I'll try my best here. I kind of give up until I can find someone that can help me with it. But anyways, this is the RCMP. This is the RCMP. They're registered on Duns and Bradstreet too. The commissioner, Mike Duhame, would be listed as the key principal here for this corporation. But that's not who I was looking for here. One sec, folks. There we go. So, this is Duns and Bradstreet. They just offer information about corporations. All these, the Canada Corporation has, and this is what I'm hoping to show you here. Let's see if it's on this page. No. Okay. So the principal here for the Government of Canada Corporation, key principal, Justin Trudeau. Public administration. Okay, so this is where the issue is. It's all black. So, anyways, I got it. do it like this, and then I can read it to you. It's the only way I can see it. But this is an explanation of the Canada Corporation here. The public administration sector consists of establishments of federal, state, and local government agencies that administer, oversee, and manage public programs and have executive, legislative, or judicial authority over other institutions within a given area. So it says right here, listed on Duns and Bradstreet. So this is what they're telling whoever they're doing business with, that this is what we do. We offer public programs, and then we have executive, legislative, and judicial authority over institutions within a given area. These agencies also set policy, create laws, adjudicate civil and criminal and legal cases, and provide for public safety and for national defense. So once again, folks, this shit only applies to them. These agencies set policies. So these are these are private corporations that are making up this shit. Codes, acts, statutes are not laws. Unless you consent to it, it don't apply to you. This is complete extortion, kidnapping, human trafficking that they're doing. Administration sector oversees governmental programs and activities that are not performed by private establishments. So, police, hospitals, pretty much everything. Like the government controls everything. And it says because they are not performed. We have every right to perform pursuant to antitrust laws and the Competition Act to be competition. There can be different type of government. There can be legit hospitals. Right now, the problem is that people buy into these, especially the RCMP, that they're any type of authority. They're just private mercenaries, just go around. They're just gangsters. They're a criminal organization, go around. Because if anyone else did this shit, you'd be in jail the rest of your lives. These people do it, and people believe that shit they do is right. Like, give me a break, right? Like I said, the criminal code's a very good explanation of the shit that these people do wrong every day. Establishments in this sector typically are engaged in organization of finance and of the production of public goods and services, most of which are provided for free or at prices that are not economically significant. Okay, I don't know where that works in. Anyways, government establishments also engage in a wide range of production activities, cover not only public goods and services, but also individual goods and services similar to those produced in sectors typically identified with private sector establishments. In general, ownership is not a criteria for classification in NAICS. Therefore, government establishments engaged in the production of private sector-like goods and services should be classified in the same industry as private sector establishments engaged in similar activities. Right there again, folks. Right there again, it's telling you. Okay, they are in the same industry as the private sector. Guess what? They're private sector. They're not government. These are de facto. They're corporations. They're de facto governments. They have no stand and no jurisdiction. This is fraud by them. This is willful intent to defraud. Okay, this is all done under false pretense. All the shit they do. As a where was that? As a practical matter, it is difficult to identify separate establishments detail for many government agencies, to the extent that separate establishments records are available. The administration of government programs is classified in Section 92 of Public Administration, while the operation of government programs is classified elsewhere in NAICS based on the activities performed. For example, the Government Administration Authority for an airport is classified Industry 92612, Regulation and Administration of Transportation Programs, while operating the airport is classified to Industry 48811. Airport operations, when separate records for multi-establishment companies are not available to distinguish between the administration of a government program and the operation of it, the establishment is classified in Sector 92, Public Administration. Examples of government-provided goods and services that are classified in sections other than public administration include schools, classified in Section 61, educational services, hospitals, classified in subsection 622, hospitals, establishment, operating, transportation facilities, classified in sector 48 to 49, transportation and warehousing, the operation of utilities, classified in sector 22, utilities and the government printing office, classified in subsection 323, printing and related support activities. So this is American legislation that they're even falling under here, right? All this, these different sectors. So with Canada, within Canada, Canada is the, where's it at here? They've got 24,301 public administration companies registered under the Canada veil, the corporate veil. They're the main corporation, and all these other ones are registered under them. So government of Canada here, 200. So these are in millions. So the way these numbers work, if you're not sure, the point there, so if there's a 1 in front of that, that's 1 million. If it's just the 1/6, that's would be 160,000. So Canada, this is sales revenue. What year? I'm not sure. These prospectuses are filed on a yearly basis, so I would presume that it's last year. Regardless, so this would be 250. Almost $251 billion in sales revenue by Government of Canada. Government of the Province of Ontario, $111 billion, or just over. Government of the Province of Manitoba, $14.1 billion. Department of National Defence and the Canadian Armed Forces, $12.3 billion. Corporation of the City of Toronto, $10.8 billion. Hydro-Quebec, $10.4 billion. Public Safety Canada, just over $10 billion. Southern Health and Southern Health. I'm assuming that's a health, some type of a health corporation, $8.4 billion. Government of Quebec, just over $8 billion. Canada Revenue Agency, $7.3 billion. Vancouver Health Authority, $3.9 billion. Calgary, $3.5 billion. Health Canada, $2.7 billion. BC Liquor, $2.6 billion. Municipality of Peel, $2.6 billion. Government of Nunavut, $2.2 billion. Fisheries and Oceans, $1.9 billion, almost just under $2 billion. RCMP, just under $1.5 billion. RCMP. Wow, that's pretty good business there. Pretty good business. Make your own laws, govern yourself, walk around with guns, violate everyone's rights, kidnap people, steal shit. Yeah, it sounds like a real good deal for them, hey? City of Winnipeg, $1.3 billion. Manitoba Public Insurance, $1.1 billion. What a scam. Global Affairs, just over $1 billion. Hamilton, billion. Workers' comp, eight. What's that point? 800 million. Veteran affairs, 650 million. This is their sales, folks. Sales revenue. These corporations are not. They're not losing money. They're in. They're in the business to make money. They may make you believe that they're losing money, but they're not losing money. Minister of Justice. Where is this? Oh, $90 million. Let's go to the top. Brampton, 500 million. Thunder Bay, 420 million. Red Deer, 400 million. Canada Mortgage and Housing, 327 million. Saskatchewan Auto Fund, 300 million. Oshawa, 220 million. Saskatchewan Liquor and Gaming, 1.82 million. Airdrie, 144 million. So anyways, there's 24,000 of these public administration companies registered with Duns and Bradstreet under the corporate veil of Canada. Just want to get back to the first page. And I want to dig a little bit more into Canada here. Okay. Let's see what we got here. In the same spot. Yeah, this is where this is where I want to go. Okay, so look at this. Top public administration companies. And as you can see, Japan, Australia, they're all over the world here. Top public administration companies. Oh, look right here. Government of Canada, $250 billion. Wow. And look at this. Movers and shakers. Uh-oh, look who we got here. Justin P.J. Trudeau, Prime Minister, Government of Canada. Wow, he's a top mover and shaker. Look at the money they're making. Look at the transactions happening. And that's the thing is people think he needs to be fired. He's doing this, he's doing that. Actually, he's making the corporation money. It's just people are too stupid to buy into it that they're under any obligation to you. Okay, you accept these benefits. They have authority and control over you. You think you're going to go yell at buildings and shit like that? They're under any obligation to you? They're fucking not. It's very clear here. He's in here to make money. And if I was an interest holder in that company and he's making all this money, guess what? Why would they want to get rid of him? Like all these politicians are selected. Okay, none of them are elected. They take a poll. What's a poll? Like Ipsos does a poll here. The poll is, what do you think? I don't even know if they give a fuck what you think. They obviously don't. But anyways, these are corporations, strictly corporations. They're under no obligation to you, period. I just wanted to see. So all these companies out there, municipalities, police forces, they're all out there making uh, they're making money for the corporations, and that's it. Like you expect the RCMP to do anything for you? I just showed you their oath. They don't owe anything to no one. They don't take no oath to protect anyone. Okay, except They're when they're in these contracts to protect the corporate employees is what they do. They protect the public sector is what they do. They act in the best interest of the public sector. Let's see. That's not what I want. So, anyways, folks, I wanted to show you. I can't find what I wanted to show you here now. Oh, this is. I wanted to touch on this. Section 15 of the Criminal Code of Canada. Like, we got to realize the criminal code here is it's another act, code, statute, corporate policy is what this is. And they presume that this applies to you when it doesn't. It's like going to Walmart or something. Their bylaws, their corporate bylaws only apply to their employees. They don't apply to people walking off the street. This is complete nonsense, right? Like I said, everything's done under false pretense. And it's just been between the programming on the TVs and over time, but taking pigs into schools and making it appear that they're good type of people when really they're the biggest criminals there is. Criminal organizations. Anyways, right here, everyone, person, and owner in similar expressions include Her Majesty and an organization. So I just showed you the under Her Majesty, the Canada Corporation, and the 25,000 organizations underneath that corporation. That's who this applies to. Everyone, person, and owner in similar expressions include. It doesn't say includes me, you, this guy, that guy. No, it says it includes these organizations. Period. Any corporate, and that's all these courts are debtor creditor courts. Everything is commercial in there, right? It's all done under false pretense. Here you can see justice system participants. It's all employees. This is all employees, or then they'll have juries, which then you're just a citizen, right? You're a citizen who's consented to go and sit in one of their fucking nonsense trials. There's nothing in there. It's all done on nothing's a fact in these courts. It's complete fucking fraud and nonsense. No fact or law shall be tried in them hearings, administrative hearings, because they're not courts. Peace officer. That includes, so there's a difference between a peace officer and a police officer or policy officer. These peace officers are pretty much any government agent, but the policy enforcers are the police. But these peace officers, they give them these special powers. Somehow someone gets a job with one of these corporations, all of a sudden they can start putting people in prison over not cleaning up, I don't know, garbage in your yard or something stupid. So I want to jump down to section 15 here. And I went over this in the other video, valuable security. So once again, it's showing that these courts, these acts, these laws, everything is corporate law. Everything is credits and debits, and right here, securities. This is what they're dealing in, right? This is how these motherfuckers get paid. Security entitles evidence to title of any person, right? You're a man or a woman, but you're represented in that legal fiction as a corporate person, right? The all caps name. So the title of the person would be for example, would be the birth certificate, right? Evidence of title. It's a certificate. It's like you get a certificate for your vehicle that you give away, right? It evidences that there is a title to the person, to the name on that original title, right? Which on a vehicle would be the VIN number, right? Let's see, victim. I said before, the criminal code's a good It's a good read if you got some time, right? Just put, you spend some time and translate the legalese, and it's fairly simple to figure out, right? You don't need no lawyer to defend yourself against this nonsense, right? Because it has no standing in law, right? Unless you consent to this shit. This applies to them. That's what I mean. All this shit applies to them. It's all about corporate persons. Oh, I passed a section I want to show you. So right here, it's, Section 7, Criminal Code. If the accused is not a Canadian citizen, no proceedings in respect of the courts have jurisdiction by virtue of this section shall be continued unless consent by the General Attorney of Canada obtained no longer than 8 days after proceedings are commenced. So if you're not a Canadian citizen, they can't proceed against you. That's why when they get you in there, they want you to consent to being even giving you an address. That's why the pigs always want an address. They want to know if you're a resident or you're a citizen, right? They want to know where you live. They release you from jail. They want to know where you live, even though it's none of their fucking business. But that's how one of the ways they attempt to get jurisdiction is so they can go boot down your fucking door if you don't abide by their private fucking rules, because they're not laws. Going busting people's doors down and shooting people and that shit's not the law. The law is designed to protect people. These people are acting under the color of law, under false pretense, and causing harm and injury to people. And this is what they claim right here, Section 15, obedience to de facto law. They put this here for a reason. No person shall be convicted of an offense in respect of an act or omission in obedience to the laws for the time being made and enforced by persons in de facto possession of the sovereign power in and over the place where the act or omission occurs. So these are de facto corporations, okay, and they've taken it's unlawful. There is no sovereign power. These corporations are not sovereign. Corporation can't be sovereign. Okay, they've basically hijacked everything, led by the Bar Association, who works directly with and for the bankers. Like, once again, everything is these debtor-creditor courts. The whole system's based on control by these banks. No person shall be convicted. This is in here to protect these because they're operating now under private laws. Okay, and they choose who gets convicted. When they convict it, it can be... we're not equal under this legal shit. Okay, we're all created equal under the law. That's how this is not law, because we're not treated equally. These people think they have indemnity because they act in a corporate fiction capacity, which is nonsense. Like in Canada, these judges and justices, they're not, all they are is corporate, they're corporate actors is what they are. They have no authority or jurisdiction. Maybe over their little act over their employees, but the rest of us, go beat us. Path, Jack. Like, fuck off, right? And right here, Section 19, Criminal Code. Ignorance of law by a person who commits an offense is not an excuse for committing that offense. So they're in ignorance of their own laws here, right? Okay, this shit don't apply to me. I have my own trust. My trust is the law. Contract makes the law. My trust is a contract. Anyone wants to fuck with me, they're bound and they're bound into that fucking contract, period. And it's completely enforceable. If I don't come trespass on their shit, I'm not going doing shit to these people, but they have no problem interfering 100% in my life. Okay? They could easily leave a guy alone and there'd be no issues, but these people are fucking out of control. They're communist fucking dictator motherfuckers is what they are. You think you can come in people's houses and tell them what they do? With this whole scam dem bullshit that happened a few years ago. Complete nonsense. People have no idea what their rights are. If you don't know what your rights are, you don't have any rights. If you don't exert your rights, you don't have any rights. And if you're going to let government tell you what your rights are, you don't have any fucking rights. Period. Okay, all these rights. You have the right to travel freely without hindrance. I told you, AAMVA, your DMVs are private organizations. You are a member of these organizations without even your knowledge. The police, the these government entities, these private corporations are all working together to steal and plunder from you. You know, you're not required, a man or a woman are not required to have a license. A license is actually illegal to get that. You're breaking the law by going and doing it. Because a license is permission to do something illegal. What are you doing illegal? You know, you have the right to travel, period. Like everyone goes on, Nazi Germany with the papers. What do you think happens here when they pull you over in the car? Show me your papers. Show me this. What's the difference, people? Wake up. Enough is it. They don't have the right to do none of this. You have the right to travel freely without hindrance. Probably the next video I'm going to do is on traveling and documentation I carry with me with when I'm traveling with my property. And it's also knowing what the laws are, what your rights are, and that you're under no obligation to these private corporations. These pigs are causing you hindrance. They're interfering with your right to travel freely. And then they'll extort you. Show me your this. What kind of gun you got there, bud? Complete in violation of all this, their own shit here. And I'm going to show you that right quick. Just want to touch on some of the, let's see. Okay, offenses against rights of property. This is a good one because they do this shit every day. Offenses against rights of property. Okay, some definitions. Theft. Everyone. So remember what I said at the first? It applies to His Majesty and corporations. Here you go. Everyone commits theft who fraudulently and without color of right takes, or fraudulently and without color of right converts to his own use, the use of another person, anything, whether animals or inanimate, or animate or inanimate, with intent to deprive temporarily or absolutely the owner or a person who has a special property or interest in it, of the thing or of his property or interest in it, to pledge it as a deposit or security, which they do all the time. To pledge it as a deposit or security, they're using your, they're accessing your account, they're accessing your trust without your consent. Okay, you have no idea you're consenting into it. And I've experienced where I tell them the difference and I write to the difference and I notify the difference and they still do it. They're completely breaking their own laws here. Even deprive temporarily or absolutely the owner. So when these cops pull you over and tow your car away, what do you think that is? It's right there. It's theft. This is shit they do every day. They take your everything you have on your possession. They take your license. They take your vehicles. They take your kids. This applies to them. Everyone. Showed you in the definitions, the front of the criminal code. And that's all they do. They go around and steal shit for the courts. The courts do these orders. You don't even have to consent. They just go write something and they go break your door down, steal everything you own, beat you up, throw you in jail, then convict you. Oh, you didn't listen to the judge's orders. Like, who the fuck is he? Some fucking peckerhead loser wearing a fucking dress? Has no authority over anything. Just criminals. Like power of attorney. These are attorneys. Theft by person holding power of attorney. Every attorney has power of attorney over shit he's acting on the behalf of everyone. That's them. Everyone commits theft. Who entrust it, whether solely or jointly, another person with the power of attorney for that sale, mortgage, pledge, or other disposition of real or personal property, fraudulently sells, mortgages, pledges, or otherwise disposes of the property or any part of it, or fraudulently converts the proceeds of the sale, mortgage, pledge, or other disposition of the property, or any part of the proceeds, to the purpose other than that for which he was entitled or entrusted by the power of attorney. Like, these motherfuckers steal every transaction they do as theft. They're registering your shit with the under the Land Registration Act. That's set up by the bar association to steal your property. When you go and get your mortgage, you get your house. Where's your title? You don't have a title. All you did is sign a mortgage, which is uh, a second pledge or contract. The original application you signed when you went into the bank paid for the property, paid for your house, and then the bank turns around. The securities intermediary turns around and gives you a second contract, this mortgage. Okay, and they bind you in there. Oh, you're going to repay the principal. You're going to pay the interest. You're going to pay the charges. Why are you repaying the principal? Because it's already paid for, people. The mortgages is complete theft by these banks. That's why they have record profits. Okay, they should be collecting administration fees, not uh, top five bankers in Canada or the CEOs for the banks are 65 million in salaries or something. Like these criminals. And we're gonna have a video and show you exactly all the theft going on by these banks. Okay, complete fraud, complete fraud. And we have evidence, videos. Oh, anyways. Um, so in here I just went over fraud or theft. There's fraud in here, um, extortion, kidnapping, abduction. Here, robbery. Everyone who commits robbery who steals for the purpose of extorting is stolen, prevented to or overcome resistance to the stealing, uses violence or threats of violence to a person or property. This is what cops do every day. They go and they steal shit, and they go in with guns. And if you mess around with them, they drag you into these private courts where these bar members, these judges, because they're all on the same team, and they're not on your team. They're getting you in there and entering in the contract. Even you know what's going on? These people are human traffickers. That's what they are, period. These courts, these police, they are trafficking in humans. I wish I could see if I can find the definition of human trafficking while we're on the subject matter here. Breaking and entering. Once again, they do this shit all the time. Every day. Weapons trafficking. Anyways. No, I'm not seeing it. I'm not going to waste any more time. It's already at 50 minutes. I am done for the night, folks. Thanks again for watching. I'll be a little organized next time I do a rundown through the criminal code. As generally, I'll go with a lot of this stuff. I'll just search the term, but I'm not set up here in this OBS to do that right now. Anyways, www.republicofnovascotia.ca. Going to the website. Email republicnovascotia@protonmail.com. Sign up. Take yourselves off the voters list, provincial, federal. Call the elections, Canada elections in your provincial jurisdictions. Take yourself off the voter list. Take away their power. Yeah, your vote don't count anyways. It's all autocratic. They're selected. They're not elected. That's very clear. These people do not work for the people. They work for these corporations, as I just displayed in this video. And if you go through that list, through Duns and Bradstreet, you'll very clearly see that the jurisdiction that you're in is a corporation that's just strictly making money. They're out there, like even taxes, for instance, right? Like, where's all this go? It's complete. They're taking all these securities, and they're the ones that are profiting off this. Okay, they're not in here serving us. They should, if they were serving us, they wouldn't be worried about profits. They worry about serving us, and any excess funds would go to the people or go to resources, like maybe people living in tent cities, maybe have them in homes. Like, this is nonsense. Okay, they don't work for us. They just steal everything, the resources we have. They just tax these corporations and it's all shipped off and we get nothing. We get absolutely nothing. All these taxes on fuel. This is what's called taxation without representation. There's been wars fought over less than this shit. Like, this is complete. It's tyranny, is what it is. It's communism. These people are communists. The RCMP and these municipal polices, they are communists. I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. These people are communists. They're all for themselves. They are a human trafficking, organized crime syndicate. The RCMP, all these police forces, they're criminals. Anyways, that's why with the Republic of Nova Scotia, the establishment of community law courts, common law courts, people will have the right to get the wrongdoer on the stand because these admiralty equity courts don't allow that. You know, certain peoples are protected under these legal fiction corporate statutes they write that only apply to them. You cause harm or injury to another woman, there's accountability. Okay, these acts are nothing but a guise. That's why we need law. We need courts on the land, not these fiction ministerial courts that have no authority, no jurisdiction, or nothing but fraud. When they look out for each other, there's no remedy. They abduct children. They traffic children through these family courts. They are disturbing and disgusting, and I don't know how these people sleep at night. It's quite, it's very, very disturbing how people like this operate, and they think that this is, acceptable. Like, for society to think that, certain people have the right to go and take other people's children, don't even know them, don't know nothing about them, never met them a day in their life. Yeah, this is what you're going to do based on, once again, I have plenty of evidence to substantiate my claims that these they're all bar members. They act in the best interest of the courts and the public. Okay, the public sector, the public trust, not for the people. Okay, and there's a big difference. Time for people to start acting in the private and get out of this public shit show, because this is who you're dealing with. Okay, they claim you're incompetent. You don't know any better. Well, show them otherwise, right? Learn your rights and learn how to self-govern, suzerain, and it's time to establish a de jure government for us, the people. We just want to be alone, left in peace, and we can self-govern. We don't need I just want to be left alone from these wrongdoers. Just stay completely away, stay out of my life, and I know there's a lot of people that feel that way also. It's just the misconception of what's actually happening and who's the real wrongdoer, who's on the bad side here, right? It's just we were taught completely the opposite of what's really going on. We weren't taught, banking or laws or contracting or what your rights are. It's a complete conspiracy in order to lower frequencies and keep us distracted from the real truth is here, right? Like even an authorities of the boss, like they call themselves an authority. Like, how do they work for us if they're the authority? It's complete nonsense, backwards. You can even look in their paperwork, which you'll see. I try to hit on a little bit of everything, mainly to show you that, through these videos, what the law, what their laws are, and what applies to them, and what's actually going on, and who they take an oath to, and who they don't take an oath to. Okay, and there's a few more things I want to touch on tonight, like the Police Services Act and the Surety Act, which is how you go after these people's their bonds. They're insured. They're operating in commercial capacity. They have to be insured. If they're not, they're operating not within the law of commerce. Okay, they're committing fraud here if they're not properly bonded. They don't have proper oaths. Like, there's lots of stuff that they are not providing that is very, very questionable, right? If they're really these great individuals, what's the big deal about showing me your up-to-date, signed and sworn oath under the pains and penalties of perjury? That you're going to You agree and you will uphold the laws and do everything in the best of your ability to act in the people's best interest. But there's not such a thing out there. They act in their own best interest. Okay, it's complete tyranny is what's happening now. There's no justice. These courts aren't courts of justice. They're, like I said, commercial courts. Everything is a fiction in there. They're in their own la la land. They're like in Disneyland or something, as far as I'm concerned, because just the thoughts that they think they're allowed to hurt people. It's fine. I went to school or I took a course, and all of a sudden now I'm allowed to hurt people. Like, give me a break, right? Wake the fuck up, people. Enough is enough. You cause harm to another one once again. There's accountability. Okay, by the people. People need to wake up and learn that this it applies to everyone equally. These these de facto these corporate employees, their laws apply to them. Plus, if you hurt anyone, it applies to them. Period. They're not protected by anything except they got these hired mercenaries with guns out there committing crimes against people, and that's it. Okay, these criminal organization gangsters out there, you know, self-regulating, going around shooting, killing people just for fun. Anyways, thanks again, folks, for paying attention to me for an hour. It was way long overdue, but anyways, uh, take care. Thanks for watching, sharing, like. We'll see you next time.